Good day, students. So I'm back with one another video, and this time it's regarding structure of internal structure of a leaf. Now I really hope that you people are quite familiar with this picture of an internal structure, and I have also included these some of the 3D structures as well, so that you may have a very clear cut view of what is happening inside an internal structure of a leaf. And this is again a 3D view, but I included the two of them so that it's more understandable. So as you know that when I talk about a leaf and basically about a plant, so you know that from the roots the water is going up into the leaf, and the leaf is also known as the food factory because it's that one company which is manufacturing the food. And you know that a leaf is performing photosynthesis as well. Now before we go into the detail of this photosynthesis, let's really look at the ingredients which are required for the food of a plant. So when you look at a photosynthesis equation, we know that carbon dioxide is required, which is a gas, and water is required, which is in the liquid form, and sunlight is required, which is coming from the sun obviously, and that is being absorbed by chlorophyll, which is present in chloroplast, and the product for this whole reaction is glucose, which is sugar, and oxygen gas, which is the byproduct of this whole reaction. Now if we go into the detail of this internal structure, we really need to understand from where are these raw material or these raw ingredients coming into a leaf which is situated somewhat here. So starting with carbon dioxide, which is in the form of a gas. Now you know from a structure after the discussion in the class that there are some guard cells and there is this stoma at the bottom side of the leaf. Like you can see in the 3D structures as well, it's there. Remember I told you that the guard cell is like this, and they are literally the guards. They are guarding this stoma which acts like a gate. That when the guard cell relaxes, it's open up the stoma, and when like if you see over here, the guard cell is like in the open condition and it's letting the gases come out or go inside. And when the guard cells are closed, they somewhat look like this. There is no stoma in between. So it's closed. So nothing can go inside and nothing can come outside. So when I talk about how is this plant taking in carbon dioxide, so carbon dioxide is basically entering from this part in this 3D structure. This you see, this is the bottom side of a leaf, so the carbon dioxide is going into the leaf from this area, these all parts. The carbon dioxide is entering, and you see these air spaces. This air spaces is basically for the movement of the gases such as carbon dioxide and gas, because you know gas is a matter and matter is anything that occupies a space. So obviously that we require some empty spaces inside this leaf structure so that the gases and the water can move inside. So now we know that carbon dioxide is entering in the leaf in this whole manufacturing company from these stomas, these stomatas. And if I just directly talk about the exit of oxygen gas, so again, these gates are used to exit the oxygen gas into the environment. Now coming to the point of hydrogen gas, oh sorry, water, H2O. Now you know that these roots are responsible for the absorption of water and minerals. So the water is then being absorbed by the root hair cell, then it goes into the root, it goes in the stem, and then into the petiole, and then in this midrib, and this is the vein. Now look closely. This structure is the vein. This vein is basically representing, is also called a vascular bundle. If you look the same vein over here in this 3D structure, so you see this vein is having these two pipes. I told you in the class as well that these two pipes are basically, one is xylem and one is phloem, and together we call them vascular bundles. So xylem is transporting water from roots. So the xylem is that pipe which is transporting water and minerals to the leaf. Why? Because water is required, is one of the requirement of photosynthesis. So it's coming from the root to the stem, and then to the petiole, then to the midrib and vein, and in the vein you have two divisions. One is the xylem and the other is the phloem. So from xylem the water is entering the internal structure of the leaf. See, this is the internal structure. So now we know that we are getting these two materials from this area. Now let's talk about this very important thing known as sunlight. What is this sunlight? Why is it that much important? Why the photosynthesis only takes place in the day? Why not at night? So for that purpose, if we just discuss this structure, so the first thing which we see on the top of a leaf is a waxy cuticle. Now this waxy cuticle is a protective layer that prevents the water loss from the surface of a leaf. Now how a water loss can happen from the surface? Because you see sun is right shining really brightly and the rays are hitting the surface of the leaf, so they may cause evaporation from the surface of a leaf. Now if the water gets evaporated from the surface, there will be no water inside. So how a leaf is going to do photosynthesis? So in order to have this safety, this protection, that the leaf should have a control over the water which is required. So these waxy cuticles, these wax protective layers are there at the top as well and at the bottom as well. But there's the difference. The top layer does not have a stoma, but the bottom layer does have a stoma. Because see, I'll give you an example in the class as well that there we do have guards at our home as well, and the guards are basically there at the bottom, like where the gates, the main entry of your home is. So your guest and everybody enters from that part. So that is why the guard cells, the stoma, the gates, the entry and exit of a leaf is from the bottom, so that the leaf would have control over the movement of water vapors and gases. So this is the reason why there is a waxy cuticle. Now remember I also mentioned that these two longitudinal and circular irregular shaped cells are, both of them are called mesophyll cells. But there is a difference that these longitudinal cells are basically called palisade and these irregular shaped cells are called spongy. So there is this one very basic difference between them, that palisade has a lot of chloroplast, and a lot of chloroplast means lots of chlorophyll, and you know chlorophyll is there to absorb sunlight. So the chloroplasts are present in a number of you can say a number of chloroplasts are present to absorb maximum sunlight in the exposure of the sun, so that that sunlight can be absorbed to form their food, glucose and oxygen gas, which is the byproduct. And when oxygen is produced, it leaves the leaf from here. So this is up for the discussion. I hope it was helpful and thank you so much. Take care and do write your queries in the comment section. Allah Hafiz.